Zimbabwe and India to sign a memorandum of understanding in defense and security.
In business news, Bulawayo firms retool, boosting efficiency and productivity.
And now look at sport, all set for the ZIFA Executive Committee elections this Saturday.
And now to our first story. Government officials and the ZANU-PF leadership in Mashonaland Central Province have paid tribute to the late national hero, Comrade Justin Mpamanga, who died on Wednesday.
May his soul rest in peace. We will give you details on that report as we progress with the bulletin. Zimbabwe and India are set to sign a memorandum of understanding to enhance cooperation in defense and security matters. John Nandara gives us that report.
Indian ambassador to Zimbabwe, His Excellency Brahma Kumar, met Defense Minister Honorable Pamchinguri Kashiri in Harare this Friday, where it emerged that the two countries are poised to sign a memorandum of understanding MOU next month. The MOU is aimed at enhancing cooperation in defense and security.
We didn't have an MOU between our two defense ministries, and over the last year we have been working on the documents, and I'm happy to say that I've been invited this February to India so that we can sign the MOU finally. And that will open many opportunities. The first one being that we will be exchanging delegations at the ministerial and also at technical level. And we will be looking at areas of training. Although we don't have an MOU, but already we have students from defense in India who are learning quite a number of advanced skills in the area of defense.
Ambassador Kumar indicated that the two countries will resume their joint commission and trade committee meetings with a view to reviewing areas of sectorial cooperation agreements.
In May 2024, joint trade committee meeting led by senior officials from both countries, they met and they agreed on certain agenda items. So where work is going on, we need to push it more so that in this 2025 we can look forward to have joint commission meeting, which joint commission meeting is chaired by ministers from two countries. And this meeting has not taken place for I think for a quite long time. So now time has come where we are restructuring our relations.
Zimbabwe and India share bilateral relations in various sectors that include education and health through different institutional mechanisms and agreements. John Nandara, ZBC News, Harare.
Elsewhere, a Republican lawmaker has proposed amendments to the U.S. Constitution, allowing the United States president to be elected for up to 3 terms.
Now, this move is aimed at facilitating a third term for President Donald Trump. The details.
Introducing the resolution in the House, Congressman Andy Ogles argued that the amendment will allow President Trump to serve 3 terms and sustain the bold leadership for America. After his victory in the 2024 U.S. presidential election, Trump insinuated that he would want to run for a 3rd term. The 22nd Amendment of the U.S. Constitution says no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of the president or acted as president for more than 2 years of a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once. To amend the U.S. Constitution, it requires the support of 2/3 of the House and Senate to kickstart the process. Meanwhile, Trump has pardoned 23 anti-abortion activists, including some convicted of blockading a reproductive health clinic and intimidating staff and patients. The pardons were issued a day before March for Life, an anti-abortion rally in Washington, D.C. Again in the U.S., a judge has temporarily blocked Trump's order to change birthright citizenship, which was slated to take effect in February. The challenged order is among the executive orders signed by Donald Trump on the day of his inauguration.
Investment in water infrastructure through the presidential borehole program continues to positively impact thousands of lives in both urban and rural communities.
In Harare, the program has bridged the perennial vacuums of water challenges while guaranteeing security for clean water. Our news team engaged some communities in Harare that have benefited from the presidential borehole program.
It is midday and Lisa Gotora makes her way to a nearby water point here in Southway Park, a high-density suburb located just a few kilometers from the central business district. Her walk is well measured, as if to confirm the confidence she has of filling up her containers with the precious liquid. She tells us the borehole has been a game changer for their community, where previously they would spend long nights queuing for water.
Kubva kumashure mvura yainetsa taitravela kuenda kunonzi kuSouth Park New School. Asi zvinozvi zvave nani kuti tarerukirwa chibhorani chedu chava padhuze.
For this community and many more in Harare, the water point enabled through the presidential borehole program is more than just a humanitarian intervention, but also a strategic response to improving livelihoods. Lawrence Mudzengerere works as a driving instructor in Harare and confirms access to water has been a fundamental pillar for their business.
Vamwe makandini vari kuvachera pano isu driving school kunyanya ndisa achitambudzika because ma students edu anenge achida kuti anwe mvura atiko zvezvi kubva parakaisirwa boho aiwa zvinhu zvokufamba zvakanaka chaizvo.
The Second Republic has emphasized a provision of clean and reliable water sources as a cornerstone for sustainable economic development. There is also enhanced focus to improve service delivery within local authorities through the Call to Action Blueprint launched by President Emerson Mnangagwa in 2023.
We wanted to bring technology that is not only globally effective, but technology that will ensure that the service that is being delivered to the people is affordable and is of world-class standard.
The reality of this vision has been marked by a public-private partnership on water treatment and provision between the Harare City Council and a local private player sealed recently. Besides Harare, the presidential borehole program has improved access to water in several communities, including Buhera district, with government targeting to sink a borehole in each of the 35,000 villages across the country. Theophilus Chuma, ZBC News.
Government officials and the ZANU-PF leadership in Mashonaland Central Province have paid tribute to the national hero, Comrade Justin Mpamanga, who died on Wednesday. We now give you details to that report.
The body of the late national hero, Comrade Justin Mpamanga, was taken to Rukariro Farm in Matepatepa this Friday morning. Chief Mourner and Mashonaland Central Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Christopher Magomo, described the national hero as an all-rounder who played a pivotal role in liberating the nation and driving government programs.
Munhu aisangana nevana vadiki achikwana sokunge mwana womudiki asi achipa direction gwara. Munhu akanga ari baba kumusangano zvakare munhu akanga achibatsira kubva kumaprogramu nekuhurumende zvakare.
The ruling party leadership for Mashonaland Central Province comforted the bereaved family.
Achirwara aindifonera almost every week. Ndinoda kuti nditende mukuwasha akadai kurasikirwa kukuru kwataita handigone kutaura mukuwasha famba zvakanaka.
Province Mashonaland Central tarasikirwa negamba, tarasikirwa nemuyananisi, tarasikirwa nemunhu aiwanikwa achibatsira zvakawanda maringe nekuronga zvekuti province ibudirire. Tinoziva zvakare kuti murwi wohondo yerusununguko vaizivikanwa nezita rekuti top 10.
Comrade Mpamanga's body was later airlifted to his rural home in Chesa, Mount Darwin. Son to the late national hero, Honorable Kudakwashe Mpamanga described the national hero's death as a loss to the family and the nation at large.
Tarasikirwa zvikuru nababa wedu anga hongu ndi baba wangu, baba wedu asangari shamwari yedu kwete inini ndega magonero ake angari kuti iwewe aita kuti ufunge kuti ndiwe wega, saka panapa pakazara vanhu vanenge vachikuudza kuti shamwari yangu kozi ndiwo wanga uri unhu hwake.
Comrade Mpamanga, who died this Wednesday, joined the liberation struggle when he crossed into Mozambique in 1975. The national hero held key positions in the Zimbabwe African National Union, ZANU, and ZANLA Commissariat and Education departments. After independence, Comrade Mpamanga had a distinguished civil service career after joining the economics division of the President's Department in 1983. He rose through the ranks, establishing and heading the economics branch, serving as Minister Counselor at Zimbabwe's diplomatic mission in London and later becoming Deputy Director in the President's Department. His impressive career culminated in his appointment as Secretary for Energy and Power Development. Comrade Mpamanga also played a critical role in the implementation of government programs when he was appointed Deputy Chief Secretary responsible for monitoring and evaluation in the Office of the President. His body will lie in state in Chesa until Saturday afternoon, when it will be taken to Harare ahead of burial at the National Heroes Acre on Monday. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Mount Darwin.
The Second Republic has been credited for empowering the masses in pursuit of Vision 2030, with small-scale miners now key players in the gold mining subsector. Owen Mandova takes up that report.
The artisanal mining sector was a low-hanging fruit which only required key reforms to formalize and ensure that it supports the country's attainment of Vision 2030. The Second Republic struck the right chord and took a paradigm shift by establishing a conducive operating environment, which last year alone saw small-scale miners producing 24 tons of gold valued at a staggering $2 billion. This sector has since become a vital cog in the country's socio-economic development.
Kuuya kwakaita new dispensation yakatibatsira zvakanyanya nekuti iyo ino understanda mining kudarika the first dispensation. So kuuya kwe new dispensation zvatisimudzira pakuti kuchera kwatiri kuita tiri kubva tachera tichikwanisa kutenga maproperties mutown, tichikwanisa kuvaka dzimba mutown, mhuri dzedu dzano kugara kwakanaka.
We managed kuvaka a hotel, a very nice hotel in Kadoma, located in Kadoma, which is Highbury Hotel and Conference Center. And also we are having another project now at Tribita in town, having a small complex.
We are doing a lot in our communities. We are also sponsoring some sports, some youth in the sports, soccer, basketball, and things like that. And we are also assisting in the orphanage.
Zimbabwe Miners Federation President Ms. Henrietta Rushwaya says, while big mining companies ordinarily repatriate their proceeds to their countries of origin, local miners are dependable partners to achieve Vision 2030.
We feel very honored and privileged to have been the biggest benefactors of the Second Republic's policies. A lot of small-scale miners have become business people in their own right. Some have started football clubs, some are hoteliers, some have even built schools within the communities where they operate. Looking at the Vision 2030, we are saying we are going to continue to produce more.
The mining sector has already surpassed the $12 billion mining target set by government, but efforts by small-scale miners cannot be understated in attaining the country's economic development aspirations. Owen Mandova, ZBC News, Harare.
The country is on a drive to advance digital crime investigations through the automated biometric identification system being developed at the University of Zimbabwe Center for High Performance Computing. That report from Wellington Makonese.
Zimbabwe is making significant strides towards automation of crime investigation after developing the automated biometric identification system (ABIS), cutting-edge technology which is set to revolutionize security systems. A product of the Zimbabwe Center for High Performance Computing and the Zimbabwe Republic Police, the system uses biometric data such as fingerprints and facial recognition to identify suspects with a high degree of accuracy. The setup believes harnessing technology to combat crime places Zimbabwe at par with the rest of the advanced world.
When we have got a system that can pick up latent fingerprints at scenes of crime, then we are home and dry. We are somewhere there in terms of investigation. It's difficult to be manual when it comes to investigation. But when we have got something that can quickly search and within perhaps a few seconds give you the results, it makes our life easier and much more better for us to be a better and efficient police force.
The development and other initiatives at the center are expected to catalyze national development.
This is the place where the Wetlands master plan was developed. This is the place where ZIMSAT was also done. So the High Performance Computing Center, which is a sister to the ZINSA, is the center for computing. And what it does is that it develops software systems to help the challenges that are faced in the different ministries. This is the place where we have a center which is training our young people in robotics. This is also the place where young people from our universities are spending sleepless nights developing new systems.
The center, commissioned by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in 2021, is facilitating not only storage of data, but also facilitating research collaborations leading to innovations in climate, bioinformatics, and financial modeling. Government has placed emphasis on homegrown innovations to drive economic growth in pursuit of an upper middle income society status by 2030. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, held a heart-to-heart session with a pregnant 14-year-old girl from Chinhoyi who went viral on social media, hurling insults on her mother who sought to rescue her from a relationship with her 31-year-old lover.
It was a soul-searching moment when First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa sat down for a motherly talk with a pregnant 14-year-old girl from Chinhoyi who hogged the limelight for the wrong reasons after she went viral on social media insulting her mother for trying to rescue her from her 31-year-old married lover, Munyaradzi Musarurwa, whom she was staying with. In the video clip, the girl was hurling insults on her mother, fabricating lies against her for trying to save her from Musarurwa, a god partner. Musarurwa, who is already married, exposed the girl to polygamy, in which he stayed with the teenager and his wife in a single room. In a feat that demonstrates Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa's motherly nature and commitment to the issues of young people, especially the girl child, Amai reacted to the disturbing video clip by looking for the teenager and her mother to have a sit down with them and to counsel them. The pains of motherhood saw Dr. Mnangagwa holding a heart-to-heart discussion with the teen, imploring her to apologize to her mother for lying against her and for forsaking her teachings. She also urged her to go back to school after giving birth and to shun sexual relationships. Dr. Mnangagwa also spoke at length on the dangers of getting pregnant as a minor, like increased risk for obstetric fistulas, sexually transmitted diseases, and other complications during childbirth.
Because mwana wao naye hizo mimba yatokuwa naye mimba ya kura mwana uda kuchengetwa kuchikoro wakutodzeka wazvara mwedzi munganizo zvikuzosvika wozokuzvara mwana wozomuchengeta wozodzokera kuchikoro ningwani makore makani isu sana mai munyika mese takarwadziwa nezvawakaita mwana kuita mweya kuita shave pasocial media kuita kuita wabudirwa chaiko kuita simba rimwe rekwe apa uchitukirira uchinyadzisa mai vako zvaindiita kuti ndite shunge kuti ndikutsvage mwana wangu kuti izvinowa kutoona kuti wakakanganisa zvinoone mimba mwana wangu Zvino kana une 14 years mimba izvarike. Haukwanisi kuzvara mwana nokuti uchiri mwana mudiki. Nyama yako isati yadini yasimba. Zvichariva kuti uchatwa operation kana kuti uchabvarukira yatinoti muchirungu fistula iyai. Ende hapasi chaunenge uchagona kukontrola. Pese pawagara unenge wangozviitira zvese ipapo. Nokuti age yako haikubvumidzi kuti utakure mimba kuzozvara zvakakwana. Saka ndoda kuti uende kuchipatara. Waenda kuchipatara unozwa kuti une mwedzi mingani. Handiti mwanangu. Asi pane zvese. Ndoda kuti ukumbire ruregerero kuna amai vako. Ukumbire kuregerero kuna amai vese nokuti amai vako ava mazvara avakakuita ndo mazvara takaita tese. Vana vedu. Kukushedza kwandaita kurwadziwa kwandakaita. Kuti mwana angadai sitoramba takanyarara. Saka unokumbira mai ruregerero. Ukumbira madzimai ese munyika muno kuti ana mai hamuna kusiyana na mai vangu. Ndakakutadzirai. Asi hama dzangu vaningina vangu nezera rangu vari kuenda kuchikoro. Varume havati vine navo kuchienda kuchikoro. Udzidzise vamwe vako. Nokuti hatingaite vana vane 13 years. Vakuziva varume. Wakaziva noyu une 13 years. Ndobva usangana munyaradzi 14 years wakaita muna November kamuno. Mimba yake opo. Uchigara muri vatatu kuti mimba handiti wanga uriwe nemumwe mukadzi wamunyaradzi newe muri vatatu muchigara imba imwe chete. Kuona zvichikuitira mushe mwanangu. Zvisingaite. Asi kumba wanyazogara zvakanaka. Unogara namunyaradzi nemumwe mukadzi newe muri vatatu memba one.
Amai sought to understand what prompted the girl to rush into love affairs and sexual relationships at the expense of her studies. The young girl said she was lured by rice and potatoes which Musarurwa used to cook for her, narrated her tale.
Ndine 14 years. Ndakatanga kudana nemukomana ainzi Milad Dimbingu. Ndakatanga kudana naye ndine 13 years. Pandakadana naye ndiyakatanga warara neni. Pakarara neni mama wangu ndobva aenda naye kupolisi. Pakaenda kupolisi ndobva ndasvika ndobva asungwa. Paakasungwa nyaya akaenda kukoti akapuwa community service. Mama nekusada kuti ndiende kumurume ndiri mwana mudiki. Pandakaenda kwa Milad ndasiyana naye ndatanga kudana nemukomana ainzi Munyaradzi Musarurwa. Munyaradzi Musarurwa wewe anga ari mukuru anga ne 30 years. Panga ne 30 years ini ndine 13. Ndobva ndaenda kumurume ndobva takatanga kuenda kwazvimba kwehama dzake. Patakaenda kwehama dzake ndobva takaenda kuhama dzake dzakati kuno kumukadzi wakanombouya uende kwasisi wake kunotoni. Vamwe vanogara vege koko haende. Ndobva ndaenda kunotoni kwasisi wake ndobva ndagara wiki. Pandagara wiki ndobva ndatanga ulojirawo pangu. Ndatanga ulojirawo pangu pandanda kugarawo. Pasina mazuva mama wangu ndobva aenda kukoti. Ndobva atanga kundifonera chinditi ndidzoke ini ndichitawo nharo. Pandakati nharo pasina 1 week iwo ndobva ndafonera chinzi Munyaradzi asungwa. Paakasungwa ndobva taenda kukoti. Patakaenda kukoti ndobva wanditi yo zvaunoita usaende kumba. Pawakaenda kumba kuna mama wako unozoti nyaya yedu inogona kutozotinetsa, inogona kutoziremera. Wakaenda kumba kwenyu inogona kupfurirawo zvakaipa. Ndati alright ndobva ndabvuma. Mama wangu ndobva ndatanga kunetsana nawo mutauni vachinimhanyisa. Ndobva wandibata ndatanga kunetsana naye. Pasocial media ndopa nyaya payakatenderera. Payakatenderera nyaya ino ndatorwa ndobva ndadzokera futi kumurume wena ndatiza futi. Munyaradzi ndakamudira kuti andibikira rice nemapotatoes. Ndozvanandamudira. Izvezvi ndane mimba saka Munyaradzi akatiza izvezvi ndakutoshaya ndoita sei. Nhasi uno ndadedzwa namai Mnangagwa kuti ndikumbira mai vangu uregerero zvandakaita. Ndakavanyadzisa ndakavatadzira nekuvanyepera zvese zvandaitaura. Ndodapo advice kune vamwe vangu kuti hazviitwe. Zvinoitawo kana wakura mirira nguva yakakwana wozoitawo zvenguva wodzidza mune zvakanaka wozoitawo zvevakomana wakura kana hauzoshaya wako anokurorawo. Saka ndo advice yandokupai. Izvezvi ndane nhumbu apa Munyaradzi akatiza. Zvandaita pasocial media idhiringira ranga ndamwa randaitisa zvese izvozvo handizodhiringiro ranga rinei. Rakauya naMunyaradzi ndiyakauya nedhiringiro rakandipa. Handizoziva kuti ranga rinei. Pamwe ndorainditumira kuti ndiite izvozvo kuti ndisaende kumba kozi ndaitota nharo nditoakurira simba.
After hearing her side of the story, Dr. Mnangagwa counseled her, advising her to make peace with her mother. The teenager, who was swept by a tide of emotion, expressed deep gratitude to Amai Mnangagwa for giving her wise counsel. She proceeded to ask for forgiveness from her mother, with tears rolling down her cheeks. The girl's mother could not hold back her tears as she accepted the apology. She thanked Amai Mnangagwa for her intervention.
Une chako chaunoita chaunozogona chinobatika muupenyu ndisizokwanisa kukubatsirawo iwewe nekuti upenyu watiri kurarama unoda munhu ane chakewo chaanoziva chaanokwanisa kubata nemaoko ake. Zvinobva mukudzidza kupera neshwiro yangu zvakanyanya. Ndinokutendai amai nekundisanganisa nemwanasikana wangu. Ndinokutendai nerudo rwenyu rwamatiratidza kuti ndakwanisa kusangana nemwana wangu. Saka ndinongokutendai nerudo rwenyu rwamatiratidza.
Dr. Mnangagwa, who was elated when the girl and her mother embraced, gave them wise counsel. She further highlighted the need for the teenager to go for prenatal care. Amai Mnangagwa also underscored the need for young girls to treasure their education, value their bodies, and stay away from sexual relationships.
Nekuti mukasadaro unenge na hembe yake yakutobva ngwei toza kuti mimba yake yafamba makufanira kuti muone kuti maenda naye kuchipatara anoonekwa mwedzi yake paya atorejiswa kupota chienda kusikero kuti azobatsirwa zvakanaka. Tichakubatsirai zvikuru pamwana because murume akatotiza ende murume angane mukadzi wake vachigara muhwanzi romari vatatu hapana kachachiedza. Ende murume kazhinji anozomera mukadzi wake chai izvose izvi semasiyere akatozvita izvozvo. Mukazoda kutsvaka paakatiza munyaradzi anotoona mukadzi wake izvozvo. Kana zvaya izvozvi nezvo varume akutoda munhu anoitawo chaanowana chaanobatawo mukadzi anoshanda achachibatsira kuti chengete mhuri pamwe chete. Vana vechikoro dzika mai hatina mbokura tichiziva kuti mwana ane 13 years anopinda mumatira zvinoyauya mimba iyi haanopo kuchaenda saka akumbira regerero asi hatizoda kukura tichiti toita kumamimba tozokumbira regerero kuna namwe. Mwana musikana zvichengetedze zvandobva ndakataura zvichengetedze because anozonyanya kupinda pamatambudziko ndiwe musikana. Zvokumbira regerero kuna mai vako hauchazviita futi zvawakaita izvo. Mwana watori naye hatizoboda kuzonzwa wabvisa mimba chitozvara mwana wako ende nichatevera ndichizoona kuti mwana yazofamba sei. Watinyadzisa watirwadzisa sana amai munyika muno. Kana waziita kuti wakunogara namai chigara namai wazvinzwa tofunga mai vakuregerera. Ndazwa vachiti ndakuregerera mwana wangu asi vari kudzimbikana. Inini panose mazuva ari wakaita ndoma zvara ndakatiwa vana vangu mwana wangu saka ndakushedza ino ndakarwadziwa nanamai vamunyika muno vese takarwadziwa nezvakadai.
Amai gave food to the mother and maternity dresses to the girl since she could not fit the dress she was in. The young girl, who is determined to go back to school after giving birth, also advised her peers to stay away from men but to focus on their studies. Remanded out of custody for sentencing on the 14th of this month. However, he defaulted and is on the run. The case of the girl in question is one of the many cases that drive the First Lady to teach youngsters to remain respectful, morally upright, and avoid sexual relationships before the time is right. Dr. Mnangagwa has been on a nationwide campaign with the Nangagwa Ikliba program, where she teaches young people on chastity, respect, tradition, and moral uprightness. Colette Msanyera, ZBC News, Harare.
That's the power of love. Abused, it destroys, but applied correctly, it restores and rebuilds. The Presidential Livestock Pasture Scheme has been hailed for contributing immensely towards saving the national herd in the face of the El Niño-induced drought.
The drought mitigatory measures put in place by President Emmerson Mnangagwa include borehole sinking, processing of maize silage and wheat residues to cushion cattle from the El Nino-induced drought. National Drought Mitigation Coordinator Mr. Aaron Mchasivepi chronicled how the Presidential Pasture Scheme cushioned the livestock sector from the adverse effects of El Nino-induced drought.
Through the directive of our President, Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, to make sure that we leave no place and no one behind. This was done in the form of provision of maize silage to our rural wards, specifically the region 4 and 5 in the southern provinces, Matabele North, Matabele South, Midlands and Masvingo, which were in need of both water and feed. So the government actually provided more than 9,000 metric tons in the form of maize silage, and also more than 590 metric tons in terms of wheat straw.
Under the Presidential Pasture Scheme, farmers also received fodder seed to set up livestock drought mitigation plots at household level. Government also entered into a joint venture with a local seed company for supply of the velvet bean, lab and sun hemp seed for farmers to plant. The seed is available at Grain Marketing Board depots. 10 Time Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, we would like to say good evening and thank you for joining us. Those of our viewers who have tuned in and are watching on our Facebook platform at ZBC News Online, we have obviously Honorable Dexter Nduna, who always follows each and every one of our bulletins here, Vicky, and is saying thank you, Amai and Angel of Hope Foundation.
We also have Tambo Matambo, and Tambo says our news anchors are impeccably attired, presenting a polished and professional appearance. Thumbs up to us right there.
Definitely. Kennedy Mapesa is also saying good evening and thank you. Keep up raising the flag of our national broadcaster and country, telling our story as it is. We also have Dixon Majaha. Dixon says we thank First Lady Amai Mnangagwa for helping the mother of this young pregnant girl. Thank you for counseling. Thank you for fighting early marriage. This is very important. Also, Safa Kadzura Umera. Thank you, Amai. I hope she learned a big lesson.
Absolutely, and we'll also like to acknowledge and thank Deliwe Nkwena, Tendai Cha Tukuta from Seke Dema, and of course everybody else who is following us and watching on our social media platforms. Thank you so much for being part of the main news team always.
Well, remember you can follow us on other platforms, on our YouTube page at ZBC News Online. You can also follow us on our WhatsApp platform. That's our channel at ZBC News Online, together with our website. That's www.zbcnews.co.zw. Also on TikTok and Instagram, Vicky.
Our handles across all social media platforms, as Jassy says, they are at ZBC News Online. Now let's take a look at stories still to come in the bulletin tonight.
In business news, Bulawayo firms retool, boosting efficiency and productivity.
Later on in sport, all set for the ZIFA Executive Committee elections this Saturday. These and more stories coming up after this break. Don't go far. We'll be back shortly.
The Zimbabwean government is inviting nominations for its honors and awards, which recognize outstanding contributions and achievements by Zimbabwean citizens. To be eligible, nominees should be luminaries who meet the specific criteria for the award they are being nominated for. The honors and awards that deserving individuals can be nominated for include Order of the Great Zimbabwe, Royal Order of the Munumutapa, the Order of the Star of Zimbabwe, the National Historical Legacy Award, Bravery Awards, Commendation Awards. Closing date for nomination is Friday, the 28th of February 2025. Nominations may be made by post to the Acting Registrar Honors and Awards, Private Bag 7700 Causeway, Harare, or email to honorsandawards@gta.gov.zw. You can visit ZBC website www.zbc.co.zw or see press for more details.
The Commissioner General of Police, Stephen Mutamba, Deputy Commissioner Generals, Commissioners, Senior Officers, Junior Officers and members of the Zimbabwe Republic Police and their families join His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe, Head of State and Government, and the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, Comrade Dr. Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, the entire nation, and the Siziba family in mourning the passing on of the late national hero, Major General retired Solomon Siziba, on 15 January 2025. The nation has indeed lost a courageous and fearless freedom fighter who dedicated his life for the political freedom and economic emancipation of Zimbabweans. A highly decorated military commander and veteran of the liberation struggle, Major General retired Solomon Siziba, whose Chimurenga name was Lebanon Ngazimbi, left school and joined the armed struggle in 1977 after crossing into Botswana together with other learners from Manama High School. The group included the late national hero, Lieutenant General retired Dr. Sibusiso Busi Moyo, Bybridge East Member of Parliament, Comrade Albert Ngulube, Chief Air Marshal retired Elson Moyo, and Cecilia Bebe. The late national hero did his military training in Zambia, and after independence, he was attested into the Zimbabwe National Army. He rose to the rank of captain while stationed at Zimbabwe Military Academy, Gweru, before rising to the post of Lieutenant Colonel in 2005. From 2005 to 2013, Major General retired Solomon Siziba was in Botswana as Defense Attaché at the Zimbabwean Embassy. Upon return to Zimbabwe, the late national hero served as Deputy Commander of 1 Brigade from 2013 to 2018 before assuming the post of Director Administration at the National Prosecuting Authority, NPA. In 2018, Major General retired Solomon Siziba became Brigadier General Inspectorate, a position he held until retirement in 2024. The late national hero was promoted to the position of Major General upon retirement. The Zimbabwe Republic Police cherished the late national hero's zeal and dedication to duty towards the liberation of the country from colonial bondage and economic development of the country. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Go well, son of the soil. Hamba kahle, kawe lamakawe. Famba izakanaka, gambare magamba.
The Zimbabwe Tourism Authority is calling all operators of tourist facilities who have not registered or those with expired licenses and certificates to come forward and register their facilities in compliance with the provisions of Section 36 of the Tourism Act, Chapter 14, 20 of 1996 by 15 February 2025. According to Statutory Instrument Number 106 of 1996, categories of the tourist facilities that must be registered with the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority include but are not limited to conference organizers, restaurants, whether in hotel or otherwise, fast food restaurants, vehicle, bicycle, boat, bus hire, courier shops, tour operators, hunting operators, tour guides, non-hotel conference facilities and venues, travel agents including those online, accommodation including hotels, lodges, guest houses, camps and campsites, bed and breakfast accommodation, Airbnb accommodation, visitor attractions including game parks, farms, art galleries, visitor activities including golf, horse riding, bungee jumping, wedding venues, picnic or braai sports, open air function venues. All facilities that register or renew their licenses and certificates on or before the 15th of February 2025 will have no penalties charged. From the 1st of March 2025, the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority, in conjunction with law enforcement agents, will be deployed to bring all unregistered facilities to book. For further information and assistance, please do not hesitate to contact us at the Zimbabwe Tourism Authority offices that are located across the country. Travel and experience Zimbabwe. Zimbo.
Welcome back. The need to harness opportunities brought about by AI has come under the spotlight as the country marks International Day of Education this Friday.
In a media briefing in Gweru, Primary and Secondary Education Minister Honorable Torera Imoyo highlighted prospects that lie ahead as the country implements the heritage-based curriculum.
As a nation, Zimbabwe stands committed to harnessing technology for the betterment of education while maintaining a strong connection to our heritage and cultural identity. The recently introduced heritage-based curriculum exemplifies this commitment by integrating the rich traditions, values, and history of our nation into the teaching and learning processes. This curriculum not only preserves our cultural identity, but also equips learners with the 21st century skills to thrive in a rapidly changing world. Artificial intelligence holds immense potential to complement these efforts. It can enable personalized learning experiences, ensuring that every learner, whether in the heart of Harare or the most remote village in Zimbabwe, has access to quality education. However, while we recognize the opportunities presented by AI, we are equally mindful of the challenges. Zimbabwe remains committed to ensuring that the integration of AI in education respects our cultural values and promotes inclusivity. To this end, we must address the digital divide to ensure that rural and underserved communities benefit technological advancements.
And we now cross over to our Montrose studios where we join Marilyn Ngwenya for more from that end. It's a good evening to you, Marilyn.
Good evening and many thanks to you, Justin. And now from looking at the future of the heritage-based curriculum, we now look at the prospects that lie ahead in the agricultural sector. And of course, government is determined to ensure agricultural production follows the country's natural farming regions concept to avert losses and ensure national food security. Matabele North Bureau Chief Mhlomuli Ncube has more.
The issue of national food security has seen the Second Republic investing huge resources into agricultural production, supporting communal and commercial ventures. A farmer from the Lubangwe area of Wange has become a living testimony of the success that comes with sticking to structured farming programs, with a thriving 17-hectare sorghum crop, proving that government-initiated farming methods are bearing fruit.
Inyakatanga penya ye pre-cap farm. Toso wakwa ikune pre-cap farm. Ndikaipotesesa kuti ani pre-cap farm yeyo ndiyani omwishinga. Ndikachenama kuona kuti mutungamiri wenyika uri president Idi Mnangagwa ndiye omushinga pe pre-cap farm. So ndikati nevo kuwangeyo kuno ndimuda kuti pevene mngani nakamini pre-cap farm.
Neighboring farmers concur, Neshabi is a shining example in the area.
Ivona vaneshavi vetitira kulima kubodoka kadari. Tafunda chifundo chikurana kasa yomunomo vangwi.
Charuka chompoke kuhle wadinga abantu wamncedisa wenza njani wadinga abantu bahlakula lathi siyafunda siyalandela. Okuhle ukuthi uzame la ukulandela ubone umunye okwenzayo. Ngoba into ayenze lapha uyenze isimangaliso selubangwe. kokuqala.
Food security remains a priority in Zimbabwe, with government and its different arms promoting a climate-smart agriculture.
Matsakatiraya tinoona isusu kuti yega yega ichatipa mwana. Zvinopa zvoti gore redu riita sei riwande. Saka ndoda kuti varimi tidzidze kubva pano kuti mbeu yemapfunde inorimwa sei, uyezve region yega yega ngairimwe zvirimwa zvinoenderana ikoko.
We are on a country-wide tour today. We are in Wetland North, where we are looking at the impact of these recent rains on the crop condition. And specifically here in Hwange, region 5, we've seen in the background a spectacular sorghum crop, which is why we say there should be agroecological tailoring, that what is grown by the farmer must be determined by the exigencies of the agroecological zone.
Under the National Development Strategy 1 and Vision 2030, emphasis has been on availing critical knowledge and inputs to ensure maximum productivity and attainment of food self-sufficiency. Mhlomuli Ncube, ZBC News, Hwange.
Government is prioritizing the rehabilitation of the Guyu-Manama Road, which deteriorated over the past years. The rehabilitation program will be implemented in the first quarter of the year.
Guyu-Manama Road is the link between Matebelele and South districts of Matobo, Kwanda and Beitbridge, as well as Mlamba-Pele border post. With the rains having left the road impassable, area legislator Honorable Umpile Marubi has since engaged the provincial roads engineer to assess the damage and map the way forward.
Abantwana besikolo izimota sezihamba phansi. Abantwana besikolo abasayenelisi ukuthi bahambe kuhle, izimota sezigijima phansi, ezinye zihambe phezulu komgwaqo. Abantwana bagcina bengasakwazi ukuthi bahambe njani.
Daily I've got 2 buses, sometimes 3 on Friday, that ply this route, and each bus now is forced to carry 2 rear U-poles and 2 front U-poles, because all the time the U-poles are the ones that hold the springs into the axles. They always break.
Provincial Roads Engineer Nkomo disclosed that the rehabilitation of the road is a priority in the first quarter of the year.
We've done the assessment together with the leadership of Kwanda South. The road is in a very bad state, but as the department we've placed the road in our 2025 program, and the road is scheduled for reconstruction. And on top of that, the Department of Roads are working with Zinara, is in a recapacitation of our maintenance units.
Besides Manama Hospital, the road also links revitalized irrigation schemes in the area with markets in Kwanda, Beitbridge and Matobo.
As the Member of Parliament of Kwanda South, I had to engage the engineers from the Ministry of Roads to come and make an assessment of the roads so that they get an appreciation of the damage, because this is a very critical road. You will agree with me that under the new dispensation and leadership of Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa is actually calling us, despite our different ministries, to see into it that we are actively involved in developmental projects.
The Second Republic has made it clear that it is committed to rehabilitating the country's road network, as infrastructural development is key to attaining an upper middle income society by 2030. Providence Maranelli, ZPC News, Kwanda.
A Hwange-based police officer has appeared in court facing charges of raping a 13-year-old girl.
Court documents revealed that on the 18th of this month, the complainant was at a local shopping center with a cousin when the accused approached the girls inquiring about their presence. The accused then grabbed the complainant by the hand and forcibly led her behind the shops, where he raped the 13-year-old girl and warned her not to reveal the incident to anyone. The complainant, however, confided in her cousin, who reported the incident to the police, leading to the arrest of the accused. The accused was remanded in custody to the 17th of next month. Tichaona Kurewa, ZBC News, Victoria Falls.
And of course, on that said note, it's back to the team at Pocket Hill Studios in Harare, where Justin is on standby. Justin, it's over to you.
Well, many thanks, Marilyn, and indeed welcome to our Pocket Hill Studios. The Interpol National Center Bureau for Zimbabwe and the Department of Immigration have signed a memorandum of understanding to enhance cooperation and boost border security systems.
The continuous engagement between the Zimbabwe Republic Police and Immigration Department has been strengthened by the signing of the Memorandum of Understanding MOU, whose key elements include information exchange relating to travel documents fraud, border management technology and operations. Zimbabwe Republic Police Criminal Investigations Department Director, Commissioner Crispin Charumbira, noted the agreement will propel Interpol efforts to identify individuals and organized crime networks.
This memorandum of agreement enhances Interpol to access Interpol databases where they can get first-hand information of wanted persons, that is international criminals, that might be. Immigration Department will be able to check whether people who are coming into Zimbabwe are not international criminals.
Chief Director, Immigration, Ms. Respect Gono, highlighted the significance of the MOU in enhancing national and international security in fighting crime.
The surge of the international, transnational organized crime gives us a push to work with other stakeholders.
The MOU will also identify and dismantle criminal organizations through shared database involved in the smuggling of migrants, human trafficking, and other related crimes. Interpol plays a critical role in fighting crime across national and international borders. Memory Chamisa, ZBC News, Harare.
In news beyond our borders, Israel's major military operation in the occupied West Bank continues, forcing hundreds of residents in the city of Jenin, north of Gaza, to flee their homes.
With a ceasefire in effect in Gaza, Israel has intensified military actions in the West Bank, launching Operation Iron Wall, a series of raids in Jenin. At least 12 Palestinian residents were killed and nearly 40 others injured during the ongoing onslaught on Jenin amid massive destruction to infrastructure and local properties. The Iron Wall operation began with the evacuation of entire neighborhoods in the Jenin camp, home to more than 11,000 refugees, crammed into less than half a square kilometer. Reports say Israeli forces surrounded the only government hospital in Jenin, reportedly blocking hospital entrances with sandbags, detaining more than 200 people in the hospital yard, and preventing ambulances from answering emergency calls. The governments of Jordan and Iraq have condemned the raids.
Russia says it is ready for nuclear disarmament talks with the U.S., provided the nuclear arsenals of the United States allies, the U.K. and France are taken into account. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov stated at a briefing that Russia is interested in starting the negotiation process as soon as possible for the sake of the people across the globe. The statements come after U.S. President Donald Trump at the World Economic Forum said he wanted to work towards reducing nuclear arms, suggesting that Russia and China might also support scaling back their weapons.
We break for business news after these messages. Stay with us. The Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Honorable D. Garwe, Deputy Minister Honorable Engineer B. Kabikira, Permanent Secretary Dr. J. Basera, Management and Staff, joins His Excellency, the President, Comrade Dr. E.D. Mnangagwa, the Nkomo family, and the nation in remembering and honoring the legacy of former Vice President, Dr. John Nkomo, who left us 12 years ago. Comrade Dr. Nkomo was an icon of peace and development whose impact and contributions will never be forgotten. We take this time to reflect on his dedication and commitment to the values that make Zimbabwe great. As a nation, we draw inspiration from his contributions to improving citizens' lives and strive for excellence in building a better Zimbabwe, upholding peace as a fundamental condition for prosperity and well-being. His contributions will forever be cherished. May his soul continue to rest in peace. Ministry of Local Government and Public Works, sound local governance and quality built environment by 2030.
Mushe.
Have you heard about Marechera?
Hanziko.
But he says keeper. They say he has this glow about him now. He doesn't walk.
Hey.
He glides.
Yo.
And he's so calm that he doesn't perspire.
I heard that he owns a bank.
Let's go.
The most secured bank in the whole world.
And his dollars, he irons his money.
He has got people who irons his money for him.
But have you heard that when he coughs, money just comes out of the blue? Out of the orange.
Let's go. Hey, yo.
Marechera.
Says Keeper, Zakuendeka, introducing the new Mukuru wallet. Send, store, spend. There's Mukuru for that.
Step up with DSTV and we'll show up by giving you more incredible entertainment.
Going to have a little fun.
Upgrade your subscription between the 13th of January and the 31st of March and get an even higher package for a whole month on us.
To the back of the net!
There's nothing better than putting a little bit in but getting a lot out.
This is the time to take risks.
Incredible!
I've heard good things about you. Don't let me down.
Step up and we'll show up on your home of entertainment, DSTV.
Welcome back. The city of Bulawayo is witnessing a resurgence in the manufacturing sector through significant investments in retooling driven by the conducive operating environment under the Second Republic.
Two prominent manufacturing companies, Monarch and Carousel, are spearheading a wave of industrial rejuvenation in Bulawayo, investing heavily in new machinery and technology to enhance efficiency and competitiveness. The two firms are leading the charge, injecting millions into modern machinery to boost productivity.
Continue to invest in more modern ways to improve efficiency in our production methods. We aim to continue to be one of the leading manufacturers, not only in Zimbabwe, but we aim to be a leading manufacturer in the region. There are a few things, obviously, that we would like the authorities to look at.
We're currently doing around 2,500 units a day now. Contrast that against less than 200 units or so a day that we used to do a couple of years ago. So that's been a big move upwards.
The government has been impressed by the proactive approach to industrial development, highlighting that it is keen to implement policies that support local industries.
The industry in Bulawayo is coming up alive again, and as government we are here to support industrialization in Bulawayo province. So one of the things that we're trying to push for under provincial economic development is how do we make sure as government, central government and provincial government, we incentivize the local manufacturing sector to be able not only to produce more, but only to also export more, but most importantly, to employ more.
The Zimbabwe Industrial Reconstruction and Growth Plan of 2024 to 2025 through the retooling fund set aside by Treasury this year is set to provide essential working capital for greenfield projects, contributing to the overall economic development under the National Development Strategy 1. Hiland Moy, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
From business news, we take a look into the arts. A number of events are lined up this weekend, with the biggest of them set for Rufaro Stadium, where some of the country's acclaimed artists are set to perform this Saturday. That's tomorrow.
The capital city is expected to be set ablaze at an event that has attracted a number of revered artists in Harare. Sungura Ace Alec Macheso, Sildenso Chanters, Master H, Mr. Mbare Kina, as well as Saint Lou, among others, who share the stage at Rufaro Stadium this Saturday. Nisha T.S. and Darula will represent the ladies at the same event. Still in entertainment, comedy lovers are in for a treat this Friday, with a number of stand-up comedians expected to deliver the best show at a production dubbed The New School.
We're going to be introducing, I don't know if introducing is the word, but there's a lineup here, my exciting comedians. Munya Mike is going to be there. Munya Guramatun is going to be there. Tanya Alex is going to be there. We are on the Tnash.
In pageantry, 10-year-old Aiden Murambidzi, who was crowned Mini Mr. Africa in Nigeria last year, is preparing for the Mr. Little Global pageant set for Malaysia.
Now you might be wondering why I want to be the next Mr. Global. Well, I believe this title will give me a platform to showcase my culture and to share my passion.
Patience Nyagato, CBC News, Harare.
And talking about passion, that's our next story in sport as we look at the upcoming ZIFA presidential elections. We are taking a break. We'll be back shortly.
Yes guys, nasi ndafunga kwenda kumusha. Ndimbo spend time with family rangu. Davu ndapenda mu chicken bazi. Munoizere chicken bazi. Chicken bazi.
Kangoma joroga uya zwewe. Kwaye wakabva Johnny angonese Georgette. Vate vasina grocery.
Ndi joro kuma shops. Haitso vesa hapana chaidzo kana Johnny nungo dziri pape ungazi ngoro ne grocery pape.
Anga ngozara manene.
Kuna chiri kudo.
Ndava ndaona mblazi mubazi. Anotaurisa munhu uyu.
Indonzi
Lee.
Tats. Yoruba uko.
Australia.
Alright, alright. Kana tuwezi mtwana tunana kutengesa unozi kutsagamisha vantu.
Say.
Ndatato hama kudai.
Okay, bro.
Acheni.
Alright. Tubasi.
Ngwa ipezi cats.
Tats.
Oh, tats.
Guys, ndaona munhu achitengesa chibage. And I've been at chibage maybe 10 years. Dikati. Imari chibage. $40. Murotora iko ken? Alright.
0773 426 300.
Alright. Yaita here.
Yaita, thank you.
Guys, chiri kunuwirira. Ndazosvika kumusha manje.
Joy after joy.
Zimbabwe is delighted to host the upcoming 15th conference of the contracting parties to the Ramsar Convention on Wetlands, COP15 in 2025. Zimbabwe is home to quite a number of small wetlands that have benefited our rural communities, mainly in providing pastures for livestock, water provision for irrigation and domestic use. In addition, our management of wetlands, which has led to pristine wildlife management, will ensure an unforgettable experience of an authentic African safari. Our adoption of sustainable land use practices that minimize the impact of human activities on wetlands can be observed in our various wetland sites, such as Victoria Falls, Munaville Vlei, Chinui Caves, Cleveland, Chivero, Driefontein, and Manapools. 5 of the Ramsar designated sites are the main anchors of our tourism product. Manapools, Chinui Caves, Cleveland, Chivero, and the host city for COP15, Victoria Falls. We look forward to welcoming you to Zimbabwe and sharing all that we hold dear to our hearts, a world of wonders.
Welcome back. Good to have you with us. Jasi, in our next story, are we talking about scoring goals or scoring votes?
Well, the question, Vicky, is who will score the most, not goals, but votes? And that question will be answered this Saturday at the ZIFA Executive Committee elections slated for Harare. Let's get that story.
18 months after the appointment of the ZIFA Normalization Committee, Zimbabwe is set to hold elections to choose new football leaders this Saturday. Chairperson of the Normalization Committee, Nkomo, who's also acting as the Electoral Committee Chairperson, says they're ready to deliver a clean election.
We've put in a lot of work to prepare for this day. In fact, this is the culmination of our mandate. So we have tried to pull out all the stops to make sure that it happens. We're confident that it will go ahead smoothly tomorrow. We're going to start off with the AGM, or the general meeting for the Congress. After that, that's when we'll go into the elections.
An annual general meeting will kick off proceedings before the elections wrap up the day's program. Representatives from the World Football Governing Body, FIFA, are already in the country to observe the elections. The last time the Football Association held the elections was in December 2018, with Felton Kamambo walking out as the winner. According to the new constitution adopted last year, for one to be declared winner, he or she must obtain more than 50% of the votes cast. 78 delegates will be eligible to vote, looking to elect a president, his two deputies, one of which should be a woman. They will also elect 6 committee members. The other 2 committee members will be seconded by the Premier League and the newly reconstituted Women Premier Soccer League. 6 contestants are vying for the presidency, with businessman Nobile Magwizi up against a former ZIFA board member Philemon Machana and UK-based football administrator Marshall Gore. A former Dynamos forward Makwinje Piri is also in the running for the top post, as is a former PSO chairperson Twen Piri and Northern Region chairperson Martin Kweza. 5 ladies are contesting the vice president's post reserved for women, while the other 8 contestants are battling for the other deputy president position. 35 candidates are also battling for the 6 committee member positions available. The newly elected executive committee will have a 4-year mandate. Lawrence Susida, ZBC News, Harare.
7 female boxers will represent Zimbabwe at the Women World Championships to be held in Serbia in March.
Having settled for bronze at the inaugural Nelson Mandela Boxing Challenge in Durban last year, Zimbabwean boxer Hilda Kaya is dreaming big. Kaya will be among the 7 boxers representing Zimbabwe at the World Women Championships.
So I'm really hoping to improve a lot Pandruga World Games.
The journey has been tough, and it's still tough and ongoing. So the preparation we started from December, the time when the competitions were published to be out. We've been preparing ever since. So we've been trying our best to keep the highest level of fitness, because this is a world championship.
Obviously, everyone might call it a trainer. Enjoy what is figuring out, let's figure and I guess since I figure our fitness and everything, and then it's what is going to happen. But the main goal is to win and make a name for ourselves.
My preparations for our World Games. When so
Zimbabwe will take part at the biannual tournament for the first time.
This is a big tournament, especially for the girl child in Zimbabwe, since this is the first time ever to participate in such a big tournament. So we are, as Zimbabwe, we are planning to send a team of 7 boxers and 3 officials. So this is going to be a good exposure for our boxers. But before that, we are still trying to have a friendly international tournament, so that we can have our boxers well prepared before they go to the international tournament.
The ladies team has also received an endorsement for their adventure after a local proprietor chipped in with the necessary resources.
I think it's important to promote the girl child, especially through sport, when people believe that sport sometimes doesn't pay. So I want to actually see them excel.
3 boxers from Harare, Vimbana Shimuranda, Tabiso Ncube and the experienced Agnes Kwashi complete Zimbabwe's contingent.
Now the KCD Mohadi Sports Tournament kicks off this weekend at the Pelandaba Stadium in Gwanda.
Dubbed KCD Mohadi Sports Tournament in honor of the country's Vice President and ZANU-PF Second Secretary, Comrade Kembo Mohadi, the event will see Pelandaba Stadium in Gwanda coming alive with teams that conquered at constituency level battling it out in the provincial finals. The Minister of State for Matabeleland South Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Evelyn Ndlovu, said the tournament will unite youth from the province.
As Matabeleland South Province, we came up with a plan through the party, ZANU-PF, to honor Comrade KCD Mohadi, our Vice President, who comes from Matabeleland South. He's a born and bred from this province. We honor him for two things. One, his early childhood participation in the liberation struggle of Zimbabwe, where he left after school. He left for Zambia and participated in the liberation struggle. Of course, we are all aware that he went through tough times when he was arrested and incarcerated at Kami prison, young as he was. So he lost part of his youthful life in prison. We also honor him for his participation post-independence as the youth chairman in Matabeleland South Province in the party. And he grew up to become the vice president of this country. So based on these two, we decided as a province to honor him.
12 netball and football teams who battled out in the finals this Saturday. Providence Maranelli, ZPC News, Gwanda.
I'll look at sport for tonight, putting a lead on the main news bulletin. We are done for the week. You have a fantastic weekend.
And good night.